Ladies and gentlemen, we are officially past the halfway point of 2020. This is episode 27, which, quick math, that means 25 more episodes left to go. I'm coming to you live from Phoenix, Arizona on an overcast day. You wouldn't be able to tell from the way that I'm squinting, but I'm excited for my special guest on today. His name is Dustin Brown. He's one of the first friends that I met when I came out here to Phoenix, Arizona. Quick shout out, rocking the Sabrina Ionescu jersey. She's my GOAT, WNBA. If you don't know who that is, check her out. It's very fitting because the hoop behind me, I had to put in a brand new rim and a brand new net, and it took me like an hour and 15 minutes because the previous person, I don't know what they were doing back there, but it was like a hornet's nest. But I think it looks good. Anyway, we're going to kick it over to Dustin, talking about making moves on this episode. He's going through a very pivotal point in his life where he's about to begin living alone in a foreign city and take on a new role within his company in leadership for the first time, which is pretty crazy. But I'll let Dustin tell his story and we'll kick it over to him. All right, welcome to episode 27. That is right, 27 episodes in. I have on one of the first friends that I made out here in Arizona. His name is Dustin Brown, and I'm going to kick it over to Dustin to talk a little about what he does for work and how he wound up out here in Arizona, just like me. Kick it over to you, Dustin.
Yeah. So hi, everyone. My name is Dustin. I'm 26 years old. I'm an occupational therapist. Moved out to Arizona about last August, I think it was, the end of August. Came on like a whim. Was living in New York after grad school for about 6 to 8 months, doing some work in Buffalo, and I was kind of like, you know what, I want a new city, I want a new change, I want to travel a little bit, see the West Coast. So came out, moved out here, did the road trip, the long U-Haul, and found some work out here and started my 26-year-old life out in Arizona. So
nice. What are you focusing on specifically for work?
So my realm of practice is geared towards older adults. So it's always been a passion of mine ever since I was younger. I was fortunate to have all four of my grandparents growing up.
Nice.
And kind of created a connection with them and a bond with them. And they taught me so many life lessons and things like that. So I was like, okay, how can I take this and like bring it into my work? And I kind of like dabbled into looking at other healthcare fields, such like physician's assistant, physical therapy, speech therapy, and then kind of popped across OT and was like, okay, this is kind of cool. It's kind of gets you into the creative side of healthcare, also the psych kind of side of healthcare, and then obviously like the physical side too. So I was like, okay, this is really neat. I can dive in and use this to my advantage when working with, older adults. So yeah, that's what geared me towards becoming an occupational therapist and kind of where I wanted to go.
No, that's awesome. I want to come back to that in a second. So you have been following kind of the stuff that I've been doing since the very beginning, because you're one of like my 8 friends that actually live out here, so I talked to you about it.
Small circle.
Yeah, right. This is about the quarter life crisis. What, in your own words, like how would you describe what the quarter life crisis is?
So I reached 26, and I think to me the quarter life crisis is not a crisis really. It's more of like a change.
Nice.
I think that change is inevitable, and everyone's going to go through change no matter what. But some points in our life, there's going to be like big chunks of like change. And I think that that's good for the soul and good for the mind and the body. And I really believe that like the quarter life crisis embodies change. And sometimes change can be challenging, and sometimes change is kind of, go with the flow. But all in all, I think, change is that's my definition of the quarter life crisis. It's change.
So I love that. Right. And so I feel like with you working with, obviously your patients are a lot older, right? I feel like that's going to give you a very unique perspective on the world. And I'm just kind of curious what you've learned while working with the patients you've been working that maybe people that are my age that don't have that kind of relationship with an older generation can apply to our lives.
Just like life lessons in general. So I go into work and I'm always thinking, okay, this is a new learning experience for me, just as it is for them. I'm teaching them, and then they're teaching me. I think patience is the biggest thing that I've learned from working with the older adult population. It's just taking your time and having patience, because our generation and this generation coming up, it's very fast paced and kind of hustle bustle. But when you take time to, have patience and kind of reflect on, what you're doing and how you're going to do it and things like that, you might see a better outcome with, your goals and your future and things like that. So yeah, I think patience, really. Patience is like the key.
So I used to feel like I had very good patience for a very long time. And I feel like in the last year or so, I've actually kind of lost that a little bit. And so is there any advice on, you obviously, maybe you had patience your entire life. I don't know, but like you
No.
had to actually specifically, you have to like hone in and like work on patience. And,
You
like,
do. You have
is there
to.
anything
It's
you
really hard.
do like to get better at it?
Yeah. Yeah. So I do a lot of reflecting. I like to, like, a lot of hobbies of mine include journaling. I love to journal. I
I
kind of
just
like,
started journaling. So
you
I
did?
want to talk about
Yes,
that a
there
little
we
bit. Yeah.
go.
Just started it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really neat because you can, and it doesn't have to be like concrete. It can be like just letting your thoughts come out, doodling on the page, like writing new songs that you've heard, like in your journal, and just kind of, because it's cool. You can go back to it, and then you can say, okay, like this is where I was. This is where I was. That was a good place in my life, or oh, that's something that I needed to work on at this time. So it's always nice to like have it to go back to and then reflect on, but it's also nice for the present moment because you can just release anything that you might need to release to kind of help you, with your day or with your week or anything like that. So yeah,
Nice.
journaling is, I that's a big hobby of mine.
So journaling helps with patience. What else would you say helps with patience?
Ooh, having balance. It's hard, like I said, in this day and age, we're always, a lot of us are like trying, to work hard, to hustle, to make money, to live this dream. But having balance and like, having a work-life balance, having a friend and family life balance, having balance with yourself. I think that's kind of where patience might, come from a little bit.
So so without you knowing this, I labeled this episode. It's called "Making Moves." All right, and
Making moves. Okay.
I'm excited because the photo you sent me for your thumbnail is going to look like you're getting ready to drop it like an album, and so
Right?
I'm
It's
very
art.
excited. I love it. I love it. I'm very excited for that. So you have a few big moves coming up in your life, and I think they're super relatable to a lot of different people. So the first that I'll talk about is you moved out to Arizona.
Mhm.
Luckily for you, though, you didn't come out here on your own completely. You
No.
had friends that you moved from New York out here to Arizona. And so you've been living with them. And now you're about to kind of make a move and make that even smaller down to your
Yeah.
own apartment.
Yeah.
Is Taylor going to be living with you?
Nope, she's not. So
So
I'm
just
doing
you.
this. This is on
Okay.
my own.
So
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
like you're in a different state that's away from all your friends and family. Talk me through what's going through your head. You're about to make a move, and then you're also gonna make a move with your career. We'll talk about in a second too, but
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah.
making a move to your own spot in a foreign city.
Yeah. Yeah. So as you just kind of mentioned, I did come down here with some friends, and they're like family to me. So we've become very close. But it's time to transition into like a new role and a new lifestyle. So I have been, debating, should I get a roommate? Should I live on my own? Like, what should I do? And I've lived on my own before, and I really enjoyed that time. Um, but so going through my head, it's like making these little decisions that, could have a big impact on me later on. But I kind of just like, okay, no, I need to do this for myself. Like I have to like experience like my dream and what I want to see for it. And yeah, I was like, going through my head, it's just like, oh, like it's a little nerve wracking, but I'm excited for like the next step. I think it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good one.
I like it because most people, they consider living alone in the place that they come from like a big step. Like
Yeah,
yeah, you might be living alone, but you still have hundreds of your friends and
yeah,
family surrounding you.
hmm
You're about to make that move to living alone. No, like you have like 4 or 5 friends still in the area, but it's kind of
yeah,
just you
yeah,
against the world. So I'm
yeah,
excited to see where that goes, and I just think that's very relatable to a lot of people that have taken chances and made big foreign moves, and normally it pays off. So I'm excited to see
yeah.
the place and what you do with it. And
Yeah, I'm excited to
you
be.
said you went to IKEA, so that's gonna be
Yeah, I
exciting.
went to IKEA. I'm excited to be it'll be a new creative like avenue for me because I'll get to like, decorate, and I'll get to, just like kind of find things that like are like neat to me and like try new things and stuff. So yeah, it's gonna be good.
Cool. So
Yeah.
you've been out here for almost a year now, right?
Yeah.
And you're about to make a pretty big step in your career. Kind
Yeah.
of talk through what's going through your head and what's about to happen in your life
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. So, like I said before, I'm an occupational therapist. I do home care, and it's kind of like a split position. So I go into people's homes, and then half of my week is at an assisted living facility. So I'm actually, in the clinic and working with the population. Um, so one of the companies had a position open to be the director of outpatient rehabilitation services at a independent living facility as well as an assisted living facility. So kind of some people might not know what that is, but independent living is when you're 55 and older and you live on your own independently. You don't really need any assistance. And then assisted living is you need a little bit of assistance, whether it's helping with bathing, medication management, going to the grocery store, meals, laundry, things like that. So a big opportunity has opened up to me and to become a director of a small clinic at that facility. So that's another new adventure, a new step in my book. So
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be my first time. I only have to manage a few people. I think about 3 to 4. Little nerve-wracking because I am comfortable. I am comfortable in my job right now. I really enjoy the work that I do now. I love going into people's homes and kind of seeing them in their natural environment and helping them out in that way. But yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking because I'm going to actually be like, it's kind of behind the business side of things. So it's like, ooh, okay.
Yeah.
With,
It's easy, not easy, I should say, but it's like, it's comfortable to be a doer when
yeah,
and like, but
yeah,
when you're just doing it, it's a whole different challenge when you're now going to be overseeing or helping others do it. So whether you're leading one person or 1,000 people, it's going to be
you're
different for
right.
sure.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
let's talk about what are some hobbies that you have? What are some things that you might do on the side? Because you did
yeah,
talk about like the balance, right? And I
yeah,
think that part of
yeah.
balance is not just working all day and then going to bed. So what do you do
Yeah,
on the side?
no, yeah, yeah. So I'm very like into creating, I guess,
Okay.
and I said that before a little bit too. So I like to write write lyrics and journal and kind of just like use my artistic side because when I'm at work, I'm more. I wouldn't say I'm not creative, but I'm definitely more like structured
It's
in
like
that sense.
right brain, left brain, like what you're
Yeah,
doing. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. So, and that goes back to the balance thing. Like, okay, I'm at work and I'm very like motivated and blah blah blah, blah. And then I get home, and it's like, okay, I can be more creative and I can kind of use that side of my brain. But I hobbies, I really like to. I love nature. I love nature. Back in the day, I was an avid hiker and hiked a lot of Adirondack mountains. That's where I went to school. Is near Lake Placid. So hiked a lot. And down here, I'm not so into hiking. I don't know why
Is
I
it the
am.
heat?
I'm
Like
not.
what's the
I think it.
reason?
I think it might be the heat. I think it might be like there's no really big trees. Like I don't
Mm,
know. Yeah. Like but I do. I do enjoy like being outside in nature. Um, yeah. I should get back into.
yeah. I never hiked really ever until I came out here. And so
Yeah.
my only experience is like what
Is
hiking's
the
like here.
desert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like a hiking snob. Like you need those trees
Right.
to
I know.
to
Like
keep you
I need
going.
those trees. I need like a high peak.
What's funny
Yeah.
is
No. But
when you look at like just even like on your social media and stuff, like a lot of stuff you share and you post is around nature. So
nature, yeah, yeah.
it's
I
crazy.
love to travel too. I think that's another goal of mine in my 20s, especially, is to travel and like kind of see the world a little bit. I've been a lot of places so far, and I'm fortunate to have been. And in these next like 4 years, I really want to see the world a little bit more for what it
Nice.
is, and meet people and kind of experience different places and things like that. But back to that too, another lesson that these adults teach me at work is live up your 20s, like
Mm,
enjoy your 20s. It's they all every single like client of mine that I've had, the advice that they give me the most is really like live up your 20s, like you know create goals for yourself and try new things, try new foods, like meet new people, like you know be creative.
it's crazy because there's two schools of thought around
Yeah,
around your 20s, and I've changed teams, if you will.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
first school of thought is you grind and you make as much money as you can, and you sacrifice everything. So that way down the road, you're stable and you can, I don't know, do stuff. And then the second camp is, why would you waste the best years of your entire life, because there's no guarantees what your 30s and your 40s. But so I was originally on team, like, I'm going to grind, I'm going to do all this work. And I've
Yeah.
moved now to the
You've
second
shifted.
team. Yeah. Which is, I'm less materialistic now than I ever was, which means I need less money than I've ever needed.
Yeah.
And I enjoy just the experiences a lot more now than like the things.
Yeah.
And my big fear is like, I'm going to have all this money saved up when I'm 60, and then I'm not even able to walk
You're
or
like,
do
what am I
anything.
gonna do
Yeah.
with
Like I'm
this?
just gonna be chilling. I'm
Where
like,
to go?
it's like, it's like time poor and time rich. Like when you're time rich down the road, but you don't have the ability to walk and do stuff. So, it's funny that you got to find that balance, which is, like we talked about earlier, super important.
I think it comes down to that. And who says you can't have both?
Right.
Who says you can't be, have both of those kind of things and reach that goal financially, but then also reach that goal like just by like experience.
Well, it's because you got to make sure you just don't deal in extremes. Like, don't be the person that never talks to anybody for 10 years, but you have all this money, good for you. Like you can scale it back. And then there's certain points in your life when, you need to be all in on your relationships, and then you have to be all in on your work. So I didn't really realize that until I came out here. So did you, and maybe I'm making this up, did you recently fly back to New York?
I did, yeah.
During what was happening, like with COVID and stuff?
Yeah, so before everything that was happening in Arizona this month,
okay.
It was in the middle of June, yeah.
So what was it like? So I'm about to fly for the first time. I'm finally doing something for the first time in like 120 days. So was it eerie? Like, what was it like flying?
So it actually was a smooth process for me. We got to the airport, and my friend Taylor, he came back home with me as well. We went back to visit family and friends. So when you get to the airport, it is a little, not eerie in a way, but everything was closed. So everything was shut down, but the process was very smooth. So you went and you checked your bag in, or you got your ticket, and then you went through security, and then you're ready at your gate. So typically like the normal, how it flow, but not as many like stops in the process. So you get in and you go and you sit. They were obviously practicing, social distancing,
right.
Staying 6 feet apart, things like that. I flew Southwest, and I had a whole row to myself.
Wow.
On the flight there
right.
and the flight back, which was really neat as well. But obviously following, the guidelines and stuff like that to make sure everyone's safe. But it was a smooth transition, and wearing the face mask and stuff like that. So it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Okay. So a few last questions for you, and then I'll let you enjoy your morning. What advice would you give yourself in college, or what advice would you give somebody graduating college today?
I think I'm going to go back to this because I always do. Just finding balance. So, you go to college and you see different things. You're invested in different things. Your changes happening around you. So I think, finding balance, like in trying new things. Like, don't be afraid to, go to an open mic night that the campus might have. Just be, just to watch or maybe to, to speak or something. Or don't be afraid to, join new clubs and go out and, I don't know, explore the town, like by yourself or with friends and stuff like that. I think, finding, just like, don't be afraid to try different things for sure. I remember starting undergrad for myself, and my parents dropped me off, and like they left the parking lot, and it was just me and like the building and my like a couple like bags, and I'm like,
that's so good. That's such a relatable moment. You're like, all right, I'm an adult now, I guess. What do I do?
But I met so many amazing people along the way, my professors and friends for life, and so don't be afraid. You're gonna be afraid for sure.
Nice. Well, where can we engage with you as far as social media goes? What's like are you an Instagram guy? Are you a Facebook person? Like where can we connect?
Yeah, I love Instagram. My Instagram, I'll say it, but it's Dustin Brown, but it's DSTIN. There's no U. Someone took Dustin Brown, so it's DSTIN around.
Nice. All right. Last question, and something I like to ask just about everybody. Okay.
Yeah.
In a perfect world, what is the perfect job, career that you'd be doing? Money's no object. What are you doing for the rest of your life?
Helping people. So my dream job is to own my own assisted living or, independent living facility and create it from the ground up and kind of make it unique and sustainable and inviting and warm. That would be my dream, is to have this home that, like, for giving back to the older generation that has gave so much to us, and just kind of creating this peaceful type warm atmosphere for them. That would be my
I love that, man.
Yeah.
All right. That's good. Well, Dustin, we appreciate having you on.
Yeah,
I'm excited
you.
down the road to have you back on. We can talk more about your leadership journey.
Sure.
We'll let you get settled in a little bit on your own, and then we'll have you back on. So,
Great.
But we appreciate you taking time out of the morning.
Thanks for doing all this stuff. This is really it's really enlightening to see someone I know and just kind of talking about all this stuff. It's really it's inviting. It's definitely it's nice to watch. It's refreshing.
and it's bigger than I thought it would be. Like, I have people that I've never talked to in my life, like, that are friends of other people that have come on the show to, like, give feedback and, like, hey, I really need to hear this. And so it's nice because, like, right when I think that I'm like, yeah, is anybody even watching this or listening to this, I'll get like a random message and I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it rolling.
Yeah. No, it's I love watching it. Keep it going for sure.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you, Dustin. We'll be talking soon.
Yeah. Cheers, brother. Happy Sunday.
Yes. Happy Sunday.
All right. See ya.
Well, thanks again, Dustin, for coming on the podcast. Some big takeaways I had was just that finding balance piece that's so important to everybody's life. And I figured, with you having experience working with a very, very older generation, that they would have a lot of life lessons that they could pass on to us. Unfortunately, youth is wasted on the young, and we hear that so much. So if you took anything away from this, it's just use your 20s and your 30s to live your life. And don't squirrel everything away hoping that 20, 30 years from now, when you're retired, you'll be able to do a lot of stuff, because you just never know what's going to happen in your life. And I would rather be able to do stuff while I'm young, and that's something that I'll be really looking into over these next couple of podcasts that I'll be doing, because I've been very interested in a lot of different research around that. So look forward to those coming your way soon. But that is episode 27. Next week's episode, I'm actually going to be in Michigan again, in Traverse City with my friend group. So I'm going to do something kind of creative with that. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to look yet, but stay tuned for a Michigan podcast for the first time in the 27 episode run. But until then, stay healthy, stay distanced, and welcome to the Valley of the Sun.